the Arch Gaming Network is proud to bring you this board game review. Now here's your host, Sean Smith.
Hello and thank you for stopping by. Today we're taking a look at the party game Dixit, which was published by Jean-Louis Rubeira and published by Libellude Games. Now Dixit, as I said, is a party game, and in this game you will have to have a smidgen of imagination, because you're going to be given a hand of 6 cards, and these cards have some gorgeous artwork, albeit odd artwork on them. And then someone is going to be giving a clue and putting one of their cards in the center. Everyone else is going to look at their cards, trying to match that clue. All the cards will be revealed, and then all the players will vote to see if they can guess the clue giver's card. Interesting game. Why don't we take a look at the setup and walkthrough of the game, and I'll give you my thoughts on the other side. Alright, to set up the game, you're just going to place the game board in the center of the table. It has your scoring track, a summary of the scoring itself, and then these numbered slots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, where when you play a card, those cards will eventually fill those spots depending on how many players there are. Each player is then, you're going to take the deck of these various artwork pictures and stuff. You're going to shuffle them up and give each player 6. We're set up here for a 5-player game. Everyone's going to pick a color. They're going to get a bunny of their color, put it at the starting line, and then you have these are the tokens you're going to use to vote with. There are 6 of them, but you only need the number of tokens the same as the number of players in the game. So 5-player game, we're just gonna remove the 6s and they gone. Okay, we have 4 of the players up here at the top, and our player, we're going to play as the white player. We're just going to be off to the side to kind of free up this area here. Now, we're going to say that it is our turn to pick a card and give a clue. Now, the object of this game is to look through your different cards, all right, and then come up with a word or a phrase or something that you think represents that card, okay? Now, when you're giving this clue, you don't want to be too obvious, and you don't want to be too vague. Now, we're going to take a look at this one, and I'm going to play this card, and I'm going to give my clue as simply amazing. So I would put my card out there, and then all of the other players are going to look at their cards, and they are going to try to pick a card that they also thinks matches that clue, simply amazing. All right, so they will all take a card. Then once everyone has turned in a card, the clue giver, that's us, we would shuffle them up real good, so the other players don't know what they are. And then we are going to start setting them out. And we've filled up the 5 spots. Okay, now that all the cards are out, you can see that we have them numbered 1 through 5, starting with the little person with the brain opening and some keys. And then we have the tornado coming out of a hand. That could be amazing. You know, we have a kid that's kind of on display for some creatures there. They could be just simply amazed at what the child is doing. And then you have a cauldron with smoke, and the smoke has a maze in it. And then we have our card that we played, which is the maze. Now, what's going to happen now is the other 4 players, not us, but the other 4 players are going to take their tokens here, and they are going to choose which one they think our card is. They cannot vote for their own card. They're trying to figure out whose card is ours. When a player has picked a tile, they're just going to place it face down in front of them. All right. Once all 4 players have placed their tile face down, you'll go ahead and flip them over and put them on the cards that they voted for. Once that's done, we move on to the scoring phase. Okay, let's take a look at how it is scored. So, real easily, all you do is you look at the board, and this says, all players find the active player's card. Well, that did not happen. We are the active player, and 2 people voted for our card. So this doesn't come into play. Had the other 2 players voted like that, now all the players found the active card. Okay, when that happens, we as the active player gets 0 points, and all the other players move up the track 2 points. Okay? How about no players find the active player's card? Well, kind of the same thing happens. If everyone had voted for 4, the active player, us, we wouldn't have gotten any points, and all the other players would have gotten 2 points, and you get 1 bonus point for every vote on his or her card. Now, this technically could not happen because you can't vote on your own card. So let's say they played on something else. So all the players would get 2 points because no one voted for our card. And then for whoever owned or whoever played this card would get 3 points because 3 people voted for them. Now, the final scoring is, of course, what we had happen. If at least 1 player finds the active card, but not all of the players, then the active player and the people who picked that card all get 3 points. And then you get a bonus point for any votes on your card that someone else had played. So whoever played this card would get 2 points, and then green, blue, and white would get 3 points. So that's pretty much it. You will then, discard all the cards that were down in the center. Everyone will move up on the track, the scoring track. If they could, you refill your hand back to 6 cards. Then the player clockwise would now be the clue giver, and you keep going around until the first player reaches the end of the board, which is 30 points. Okay, so you think it looks pretty easy, huh? You'd be pretty good at this game, huh?
Yes, indeed.
Well, what if I gave a clue, Stairway to Heaven? All right. Would you be able to pick out which one was my card? Do this. And I think we'll need to make a little room here. So, one of those cards is my card. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Which one do you think? Which one would you vote on? All right, I'm going to go ahead and reveal. My card was this one. So as you can see, the game is easy and quick to play, and there is a lot of fun challenge to this because of the how beautiful and odd these cards are. So let's go back up top and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so that is Dixit. Before we go any further, I meant to say something in the intro, and that is that Dixit was the 2010 Spiels des Jahres winner.
Oh yeah!
I think that honor was well deserved. I think this is a very smart party game. When you look at kind of, if you strip away and just look at the base mechanic, it isn't original in the fact that there are a lot of games out there where somebody is giving a clue or something and then other people are trying to pick something and then everybody votes. A lot of people do that, but just the way that, how smart this game is and the way it's well put together. I mean, let's just talk about the cards. I mean, these cards have just some gorgeous, and like I said, albeit maybe some odd artwork on it, but that's kind of what makes the game so interesting, because you can try to give a clue based on some little minute detail in the card and hope that somebody catches it. You know, also knowing your audience can kind of help as well, because if you can give a clue to a card that maybe, you know, one or two players might know, but the rest of you may not, the rest of them may not, can really help. I think there is a really great balance that they've designed here, where, of course, you are trying to not be too specific and not too vague. And I think that really works perfectly. And the rest of the components are really good as well. You know, the game board has that, you know, very, very small footprint. But the fact that, you know, shoot, they were able to just throw the, you know, this scoring guide right here was a great touch. It makes it so easy to just figure out how points are going to be given out at the end of each round. You know, your player tokens, you know, they could have just went with little discs, but, you know, they went an extra mile and got these little wooden bunny rabbits that can go around the track. I would say, though, there was one issue I had with the components, and that would be these tend to fall over quite a bit. If you bump the table, or you know, you're passing the cards around, the scoreboard gets knocked over. You can kind of lose track of what this was on because they fall over kind of easily. But again, that's minor. You know, that they're still really good components. Now the game plays 3 to 6 players. 3 players, sure, I guess you could play that. Probably not as good. 4, I would say, would be the minimum you'd want to play with. But 5 or 6, you know, if you have that player count, it's an excellent game because there is a lot of variety out there in the different cards that you can choose from. Now, as far as the number of cards in the game, now this is the number of cards that come in the base game and in one expansion that we bought. There are several expansions out there that add a lot of great artwork to the cards. So you get about this many in the base game. And while there is enough details and oddities on each of these, like I said, just gorgeous cards, you know, you can tend to run through them pretty quick. And if you get a card or several cards that you've kind of used before, your creativity can kind of dry up. So it's probably a good idea to pick up an expansion or two. And the way that they designed the box, it will fit multiple expansions. So I thought that was very smart as well. So as far as the gameplay, if you have a group that has really good imagination, I think the game's going to play a lot better. But I've had people look at the cards and go, I don't think I'm going to be very good at this game. And then they end up winning. It's surprising that once you really get into it, you know, how easy it is to play. And this game is easy to pick up. It is so easy to teach and pick up. And every time we have played it, it has been a hit. It's one of my favorite party games. I give this game a 10. Now, if you've enjoyed this review, please leave a like below. Also, subscribe to our channel. check out some of our other great videos. And once again, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for visiting the Arch Gaming Network. For more great content, check us out at archgamingnetwork.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.